So for this collective, there is this energy of waiting for yourself to be ready to some extent for something. And I keep getting the analogy or the example, not really analogy, of somebody who is wanting to make a practice of going to the gym, and they're like waiting for themselves to be ready to go to the gym. But that's not necessarily how it works, because every time they tell themselves that they're going to go to the gym, like when the day comes, like let's say for example they're like, okay, on Monday I'm going to go to the gym, and then Monday comes around and they find a reason to not go to the gym, whatever that reason is. It could be like a good reason to not go, but it's just like every single time they can find a reason to not go to the gym. So the message that's coming through for this collective is about self-trust. I've been getting dreams every single night for this collective, myself included, in regards to trusting oneself, and working through layers of self-doubt that was put on us by SA abuse and NA abuse, so narcissistic abuse, and you can figure out the other one. This has caused us, this collective, to gaslight ourselves and it become like a normal thing. So much so that our self-talk, a lot of it includes gaslighting, so we don't even recognize when we're doing that to ourselves, and doubting oneself. So this is a layer, yet another layer that is being that is surfacing for the collective, because this layer needs to be seen and acknowledged and transmuted and worked through, so that, and released. Like that's the point of it. It's like it needs to be, it's resurfacing so that it can be released. Hold on. So I got a dream the other night, and this was a very specific dream, and I'm not going to get into detail about the dream because it was horrific, but basically the dream was showing the importance of why you wouldn't ask an abuser to teach somebody morals, and what's the word I'm looking for, like you wouldn't ask an abuser to teach somebody morals. So why are you asking your self-doubt to change the way it talks to you, if that makes sense? It's like, it kind of goes in line, now bear with me, stay with me, but it kind of goes in line with waiting for your fear to leave before you like act on something that you want to do. It's like that same idea. It's like our fear is not going to leave. We just have to learn to work with it. We have to learn to sit with it and be with it. Because courage is having the fear and doing the action anyways. That's what courage is. That's what bravery is. If you wait until the fear leaves, you could be waiting forever. And that's kind of like the point. That is the point of the message. And so Spirit is really helping you right now in working through these inner self-doubts that you have, and they're coming to the surface so that you can be aware of the self-talk, because the self-doubt isn't going to go away. But when you're aware of the self-talk and the self-doubt, and you're aware of what it's saying, right? Like I just mentioned, you gaslight yourself so much that it becomes like an inner self-talk and you don't even recognize it. Well, this self-doubt is coming up and being highlighted so that you can recognize when it's self-doubt and be able to distinguish your truth between the voice of self-doubt that's trying to sabotage. And remember that self-doubt was created not only by abuse, but the ego. So the ego is trying to protect you in any way it can. Self-doubt is created from the ego. So there's that message. And then There's also a message here about trusting yourself because nobody can do that for you. And this going also in line with Spirit acknowledging that like right now you are working on building trust with a certain area of your life, or maybe multiple areas of your life. So you're building trust not only with yourself right now, but with God. Excuse me. Confirmation. And there was also a message here about how trust is an action word. And it means to actively choose to believe or rely on someone or something. And so right now you're being called to take actions not for someone else, but for yourself. And in turn, you're going to build that trust with yourself and also with God, because as you show up for yourself on a daily basis in regards to whatever area this is talking about, like I said, this could be multiple areas. But like as you show up for yourself daily in the small ways, you're also building that trust not only with yourself but with God, because you're going to see how God shows up for you too when you put in even just a little bit of the footwork. You're going to see how God does the rest, if that makes sense. It's like you put in some work and then God's like, now that you did this, I can do this, because it's co-creating. You know, it's like we have to work with Spirit. You know, it's not just going to fall in our laps. So there's that. Hold on. There's also a message coming through for this collective. I feel like you are probably somebody who is feeling called to step onto the stage, so to speak. You could be like a singer, or you can see yourself like being in the spotlight in some way. It doesn't have to be a huge spotlight, but in a way where you're putting yourself out there in some type of way. And if this is like social media, or a lot of times it is social media because of the fact that that's just the day and age now. But it doesn't have to be. It could be at work where you're, you know, maybe you're trying to put yourself out there for like a promotion or something. But what was I gonna say? Hold on, let me get the message. Oh yeah, so there was a message coming through here for this collective about like that's why it being so important to like build this trust with yourself, because there's like nerves that you have to work through, and there's fears that you have to work through, and the self-doubt that you have to work through really is about like how you're perceived in some way. And also it's just like putting yourself out there. Like the energy that I feel when I'm like expressing is like I feel like this like tension and nervousness in my chest, and I don't feel like this is just mine from my own stuff, but I feel like this is a collective thing because it feels extremely intense for like no reason. But I do feel like this energy is just like you feel this like when you're about to do the thing that you feel called to do, that you need to do, or like whatever it is that you're thinking of right now that you're like, yeah, that's the thing that I need to do. It's like I feel this like tightness in my chest and in my throat, and it's almost like there's just a lot of like feelings of, it's like stage fright, really. It's like stage fright. So building that self-trust is important because you're still gonna have that like stage fright, but when you have that self-trust, it's like it's gonna help you show up for it despite the fear, or like the feeling of nervousness, if that makes sense. There's other confirmation messages that I got right now. Like you could be feeling more introspective, more like to yourself, like not feeling so extroverted at this time. Like maybe you are a person that like does like to socialize, but like lately you just haven't been feeling very social lately. You've been needing more rest than usual. And there's also a message here about Archangel Michael coming through. Now this could be talking about because Archangel Michael doesn't only help with protection, but he helps with clarity and truth. And I feel like there's an aspect of clarity that's being brought to you right now with the help of Archangel Michael and your angels. But also there's this energy of protection that's coming through, because Archangel Michael comes through more so as like a protective energy. So you may be feeling like spiritual warfare lately, especially for this collective. You've been having a lot of nightmares. Spirit is reminding you that you are protected, and a lot of you that are experiencing nightmares are just working through your shadow work, if that makes sense. But you are protected and you are safe. So I needed to express that to somebody, because there's fear here for some of you, not all of you, but for some of you, because this is a general reading. But there's also a message here about, one second. Okay, there's a message here about having a hard time trusting your intuition because of the mistakes that you've made in the past, or like having a hard time like trusting yourself because you have done certain things or have made certain choices in the past where you thought it was coming from a place of intuition, but really it was coming from a place of trauma or fear, and you've made a lot of mistakes, and it's made you doubt yourself. Like, it makes you doubt every time you are going to make a decision, because you want to make sure that you don't repeat your mistakes, or you don't want to be wrong about something. And I feel like this is in regards to relationships, because I pulled confirmation cards after I got the channeled message, and this was for my angel deck, and you got trust your discernment with the mistake card, miracles out of mistakes, and the healthy relationship card, and they came out together. And so I'm feeling from this is like, this is talking about like maybe you have a hard time just trusting yourself sometimes, because you're not perfect, nobody is. And the thing that Spirit is saying though is that nobody is perfect, okay? And it's okay to make mistakes. It's not that you want to avoid making mistakes, because that's what you're like trying to do. You're like trying to avoid making mistakes, and that's why you fear making any decision, or like you have a hard time going towards things because you're afraid of making mistakes. But Spirit is saying that it's not making the mistakes that are the problem. As long as you own up to your mistakes and you learn from them, that is what is important. And sometimes mistakes come with very difficult consequences, and that is something that is part of taking accountability, is accepting the consequences of the mistakes. But it just makes it that much more solidified, the lesson learned, right? But if you fear making mistakes, you also will like keep yourself from doing things just because you don't want to mess up. So you have to choose, like, whether you're going to choose making mistakes and learning from them and moving forward, or not making any choices at all and not living the life that you want. It's like either or, because if you move forward in the direction that you want, you're going to make mistakes. Everybody does. Everybody's imperfect. It's just a part of life. So Spirit is just reminding you that it's not about the mistakes. And also reminder, and I've said this in a previous message before, but it's coming through again, that God can make miracles out of mistakes. This is literally what this card says, miracles out of mistakes. And the reminder that God can use a mistake that you've made and turn it into something that, like, you look back now and you're like, wow, like, if that hadn't happened, or if I hadn't done that, then this wouldn't have happened. So if you look at it like that, and look at it how God will turn everything that you have done in your past into something that is beautiful and working for you. Okay, so there's nothing that God can't do. There's also a message here about taking charge, being the leader in your life, and working on self-discipline. One second. I do feel like with this collective, you are doing your best to take the lead in your life and to take action on the things that you feel called to take action on. And Spirit is just reminding you that as you take action and take control of the things that you do have control over in your life, there is a surprise on the horizon for you. As you do this, there is blessings on the other side, because there's like this energy of like you taking action, but you not knowing what's going to come of it. You not knowing if it's going to bring like the outcome that you truly desire. But there's also a reminder here, and I feel like you're already in this energy, you're already integrating this energy very well, but you know that it's not even about the outcome. It's about the process. It's about the process of doing and the enjoyment that comes from that, and how that is so much more valuable than the actual outcome. Because the doing of the thing is what you're going to keep on doing once you get the outcome anyways, if that makes sense, right? So like, for example, this is just like, okay, it's just like a example. Like, let's say you want to be a singer, okay? And like you see yourself like being like the top charted singer out there. Okay, let's say you want to be like Miley Cyrus. I don't know who the top charted. Okay, just I'm using an example. I don't know why Miley Cyrus came to me, but I think she's amazing. But let's say you want to be like Miley Cyrus, okay? And that's your dream. It's like, so for example, if you have this dream like, oh, I want to be like Miley Cyrus, I want to have all these fans, I want to have, this amount of money or whatever it is, right? Once you get there, do you stop singing? Like once you have the thing, like, no, you don't. The whole point is singing, because you enjoy singing, you're good at it. So the whole point is to continue doing what you love to do, and the outcome will be whatever the outcome will be. But the whole point is that you're following your calling, you're following what feels good, and that's the point of it all. The process is the point, not the outcome. So anyways, let me see if there's anything else. Okay, last thing, I know I kind of already mentioned this, but the message about you show trust in God and yourself through actions. There's a message coming through which is kind of similar to what I already said, but like when you are taking actions, when you are taking those small actions towards what you feel called to do, so inspired action, which is divine guidance anyways, when you're taking action on that and you're learning to build self-trust, you're also showing God that you trust in God too, because it's like, I don't know if I'm explaining this very well, but by you taking a step forward, you're showing God that you trust them to carry you and hold you and take you to the next step. And it's like I said, I kind of already mentioned this, but like a co-creating energy. And I feel like I botched that, because like it was like an energy coming through, but like I feel like when I'm trying to verbalize it, it's not it's not making sense. But anyways, it's fine. For those of you who get it, I guess it'll make sense, or it doesn't. But anyways, yeah, so I hope that message was helpful. And yeah,